Okay. When did your interest in the tattoo industry evolve?
Um, I feel like people get tattoos to kind of like a photo book. Instead of having a bunch of albums and a bunch of pictures, have them tattooed on you. That way you can see it all the time. I don't know, it just represents who you are. Like if I had a bunch of dumb stuff all over me, you can tell what I'm about, basically. And you got people that have like real nice tattoos and flowers and all that stuff. You can tell that they really care about themselves. I don't know, it's really weird.
I feel tattooing shows your character. Like you said, it is literally the oldest form of art. There's been, mommy's called the Iceman, if you'd like to look him up, who has 12 tattoos, and he was prehistoric. I mean, and it was used as acupuncture, well then it was used as tribalism, and then it was used for gangs in America, then it was used for circuses, and it's just, there's so much history behind it. And tattooing to me is about heart more than art. Art is the number one thing as far as like, you need to make sure you're clean, you make sure you have this and this, but at the end of the day, the tattoo itself is art, and it doesn't matter if you think someone's this or you think someone's that. People like their artwork, and as I said before, the fact that people come to me and they're like, "Well, I like your artwork," or "I like Lance's artwork," or whatever. That's the most humbling thing in the world to me. And like you said, it shows about your character, whether you like skulls or you just want a space or Einstein, or you want a portrait, or you want the most, you want an infinity loop. No matter what, it says something about you, and there's a memory to it.
Tattooing is an art form that began over 2,000 years ago as a Polynesian legacy. This new trend started to decline during the arrival of the Western missionaries in the 19th century, such as in China and India. It was looked upon by Christians as unholy and seen as a marking of the skin that transforms one's skin into an unpure surface. It was used to identify members of certain tribes and serve as a marking from the gods. Over time, the culture of tattoos has expanded and become more socially popular and acceptable, used to commemorate people, loved ones, hardships, inspiration, and passions, all through the art of imagery.
Ironically enough, I was in my counseling diversity class, where it's supposed to be the more open environment, and we got on the topic of having tattoos. And at the time, it was getting colder, so I had boots on and pants, so you couldn't see my tattoos, so nobody in the class really realized I had tattoos. But they were being very judgmental about it, like, well, if you get them, we'll expect people to look down on you and things like that. And I'm like, for somebody who's going into counseling, that's an awfully closed-minded ideal. So they were like, well, they just want attention, or they're bad people, things like that. And I'm like, you're sitting next to somebody who has 6 tattoos. That's not great. So it happens.
I think people are closed-minded. The same people that are judging you are the same people that go to church every day. They go to church and say don't judge somebody, but they walk out and say, well, you got tattoos, you're a bad person. And it's ridiculous. I mean, workplace I kind of understand where they come from tattoo-wise, but it's just a form of art. It's all it is.
Just because you have some understanding doesn't mean this or that. I think there's a lot of scrutiny behind it. I think it's becoming a lot more acceptable because of the new TV shows and stuff like that. I personally don't think they should or ever would be fully accepted, because I kind of like that it's a taboo thing.
It means diversity.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I kind of like that. Not everybody has tattoos, because it's kind of cool to just have weird tattoos. But it's, like I said, some places you have to keep professional. Like I said, I went to college and I worked in professional stances. When I first started tattooing, I got my thumbs tattooed, super small tattoos, but I got them tattooed so I couldn't work in the medical field anymore, because I know they're not accepted fully. So yeah, as long as there's a rationale that people aren't judged by their tattoos and all that good stuff, you just have to respect them. Respect that you have to have professionalism, and that you're going to be judged if you have tattoos. I expect it. I've done it to myself.
Society has this image for certain people in certain majors. That being said, my best friend was an elementary education major. She was going to be an elementary teacher. She couldn't go around getting tattoos like I can, because of job offerings and like what people's ideas of teachers are, especially elementary teachers. Whereas either teaching comm or being a counselor, my field's a little more open to those because we tend to have more open-minded individuals.
Yeah, I'm hoping tattoos like become acceptable. I don't think it ever. It's kind of like gay marriage. Everybody's going to have their opinions about it. It's always going to be there. You're not going to get rid of people being mad because of gay rights. Same with tattooing. Tattooing is probably never going to be acceptable. But I do think it's been a little bit more acceptable. I mean, we've tattooed Ball State professors. There's one that has a whole back piece they got down here. Never had a tattoo in his life. His whole back is covered now. With a big old dragon. So, it's acceptable if you can cover it up.
Like you said, that's exactly it. If you're going to get a visible tattoo, be ready for people to either judge you. It doesn't matter how small it is. Be ready for people to say something, or it could be, judging can go both ways. People want to talk about tattoos or this or that. But if you have a visible tattoo, it's going to change a little bit. As long as you can cover it up, no one's going to care at all.
As times have changed, so has the ideal image of what our society considers to be professional. Even though tattoos have become more socially acceptable in the workplace, that doesn't mean that it has no effect at all. Tattoos overall are a fad that will not be taking a decline anytime in our near future. They are not a decision to be taken lightly and should consist of a message unique to the person and be on a location that won't jeopardize one's future.
Any last comments?
Come get tattoos. They're yeah.
They'll hurt.